Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we are going to be discussing this week's Monday Night Football matchup, Baltimore Ravens versus the Cleveland Browns. We're going to be going over this game, my overall thoughts of it, how this game ended up ending, how it did. It was a crazy fest. This was probably one of the best games of the year, in my opinion, based upon it being on prime time and the way that the game ended up going. So, we are going to be talking about how the regular game went, obviously, like how the fucking game went down, as well as the fantasy football implications from this game. So, before we get into it, I'd like to ask if that at any point inside of this Baltimore Ravens versus Cleveland Browns breakdown you end up enjoying, you end up having a great time, then please make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. Not only is it free, I put out that content every single day to help you guys win that 2020 Fantasy Football Championship. So without further ado, let's break it down. Baltimore Ravens defeat the Cleveland Browns 47-42. Truly a game of two halves, of three quarters, maybe you would say, because the third quarter, I'm like, this is going to be all Browns. I'm feeling like the Browns are all Baltimore. The Baltimore Ravens have finally turned this around. It was very close at the beginning, and then the Ravens started stomping on the gas, and then in the fourth quarter, the Cleveland Browns lit it up like Snoop Dogg on a Tuesday night, and then magically, the Baltimore Ravens end up winning the game. The shenanigans that went down in this game was absolutely crazy. Lamar Jackson ends up getting cramps. Cramps. I use quotation because I'm not too sure if it was like that Celtics player who shit himself and they wheelchaired him out there and they wheelchaired him back out of there because he shit himself. Is that what happened? Did Lamar have to take a shit? Did he have to piss? What happened? He was gone for a while. Was it actually cramps? Was it not? Because he ran back onto the field and the announcers were saying that, oh, he's visibly banged up. I didn't see any visibly banged up from him. He went out there and threw some fucking dimes like his name was Trace Mcsorley. Speaking of Trace Mcsorley, he got in the game 1 of 4 for 13 yards. Lamar 11 for 17, 163 and 1 touchdown. But where Lamar gets everything done is in the rushing game. 9 for 124 and 2 tugs. What? Those are Madden numbers. Unreal. Lamar Jackson is the best regular season quarterback I may have ever seen because this guy will get this team to the playoffs. Maybe now, right? At this point in the season, they're 7-5 now. Baltimore 9-3. I think they're actually 8-5 now, if my math does me correctly. Maybe now they're actually just 7-5. I don't know, but the Browns are on fire. The Ravens are on fire. This is going to be a very big AFC spot for the 7th seed, I should say. The 7th seed is just all up in the air as of right now, based upon this matchup. And the Baltimore Ravens look very legit. But as we've known the last 2 times Lamar makes the playoffs, it's a first time they play exit, just like, in my opinion, it will be this year. Baker Mayfield cooked it up 27 for 46, 341 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and 1 INT, as well as 5 for 23 on the ground for 1 touchdown. So him and Lamar were really going tit for tat in this game, and Baker looked like a very competent quarterback in this game, which is not something we can say about Baker Mayfield all the time. Even with this game seeming like it was going to be a rush-heavy affair from both sides, the rushing wasn't all that amazing. Chubb rushed very well, 17 for 82 and 2 touches, but I was thinking this was going to be like maybe Chubb gets 25 carries even in this matchup, and that just didn't happen. Kareem, 6 for 33 and 1 rushing touchdown, as well as 5 for 75 and 1 touchdown in the receiving game. I thought he put the dagger in the Baltimore Ravens' heart, and then the Ravens went down and scored again. This was just one of the craziest games I've ever seen as of recently. DPJ, Donovan Peoples-Jones, 3 for 74, no tugs. Jarvis Landry, 6 of 9, very nice, for 52 yards. And out of fucking nowhere, David Njoku, a name you haven't heard in so long, just played fucking amazing. 3 for 45 and no touchdowns on 4 targets. He's a guy that I'm not going to be adding in fantasy football, but it is interesting to note that he actually played very well in this game. Mark Andrews, 5 for 78 on 6 targets. Marquise Brown, 2 for 50 and 1 tug in that game. The rushing attack, Lamar, again, 9 for 124 and 2 touchdowns for the Ravens. J.K. Dobbins, 13 for 53 and 1 touchdown. Gus Edwards, 7 for 49 and 2 touchdowns. Mark Ingram, big trust, woo, didn't get a single touch in this game. So what do I have to think about this Baltimore Ravens backfield? Right now, it's still just impossible to guess. I told you guys J.K. Dobbins was going to do well, and he did, but Gus Edwards ended up outscoring him. So what are you supposed to do in this situation for this Baltimore backfield in fantasy football? Frankly, I have no idea. I would still fire out J.K. Dobbins, but it could be Gus Edwards next week lighting it up and playing very well again, or it could be Mark Ingram. So you really have no idea for this Ravens offense. The only guy I'm very comfortable starting, or the only two guys, are Andrews and Lamar Jackson. The running backs are just tipsy-turvy on a weekly basis and are going to be hard to rely on for the rest of the playoffs, but I will probably rank one inside the top 15 due to the immense rushing upside inside this Baltimore Ravens offense. Baker Mayfield may actually be a guy you can stream now in fantasy football. Haven't been really trustworthy of him this season due to this team being very run-heavy, but Baker's been able to cook as of recently. So, pretty much, what is your guys' fucking opinion on this game? This was a wild roller coaster ride that we went on for a couple of hours tonight. I think the Ravens look like a very fierce team to make the playoffs, but once they make the playoffs, it seems like the Baltimore Ravens really always struggle. Once they make that big leap into getting into the playoffs, they just can't get a fucking win. Will this year be different? I don't know. Will the Ravens even get into the playoffs? Who knows? They really need to win these games and hope that some other teams that are in the playoffs end up losing. So let me know what you guys thought about this game. Let me know if you guys saw something that I didn't, that I should have talked about, that you guys found very interesting about this matchup. I was hoping the Browns would win as a Dolphins fan because that knocks the Ravens almost near out of contention. If they smack them up here, then I'm like, the Ravens are going to be riding low, whereas now the Ravens are going to be fired the fuck up to make the playoffs. Let me know what you guys thought about the game. Let me know overall down below in the description. Did you guys have a fun time watching this game just like I did? Let me know down below. I love to respond to the comments. Have a great rest of your guys' day. I love you all. As always, good boy!